You sat down at 9 to close the month. It's now 4 in the afternoon. You've been busy all day, and the file is exactly where you left it. Sound familiar? Cal Newport gave that feeling a name. He splits your workday into two kinds of work. Deep work, hard, focused, distraction-free effort that creates real value and is genuinely difficult to replace. And shallow work, the logistics. Emails. Status updates. Copying numbers between two spreadsheets. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Shallow work fills your day by default. Deep work never happens by accident. You have to defend it. And in a world where everyone is distracted, the ability to focus has become rare, which is exactly what makes it valuable. So what actually counts as deep work? Simple test. Could a smart person with no training do this task after a week of practice? If yes, it's shallow. Picture a junior accountant downloading 50 bank statements and dropping them into a folder. Anyone can learn that. Now picture someone tracing why an intercompany balance between two subsidiaries is off by 240 dinars. That takes context, patience, and an uninterrupted head. That's deep. Both took 2 hours. Only one of them made you harder to replace. Notice the difference? It isn't effort. It's whether your full attention was actually required. Try it on your own week. Filing invoices, shallow. Chasing a signature, shallow. Building a reconciliation template that saves you 2 days every single month, deep. Writing a variance commentary your manager forwards to the board, deep. Most accountants find 80% of their day is shallow. That's not laziness. That's just what an unprotected calendar looks like. Now the part nobody warns you about. Newport calls it attention residue. When you jump from a spreadsheet to a message and back again, a piece of your brain stays parked on that message. You are at the file, but you are not fully there. Research he cites suggests it takes over 20 minutes to climb back to full concentration. So a 2-minute interruption is never 2 minutes. Check messages 3 times an hour, and you never once reach full depth. All day. You were present the whole time and never actually arrived. Here's the math that changed how I work. In my senior role, I reconcile more than 50 bank accounts every month. Interrupted, one account takes me 20 minutes. In a clean, silent block, the same account takes 8. Same brain. Same work. The only variable was whether anyone was allowed to reach me. Focus isn't a personality trait, it's a condition you create. So how do you get depth into a job full of interruptions? Newport says don't rely on willpower, rely on a ritual. Pick a fixed time, a fixed place, and a fixed rule for what's off limits. Same slot, every day, so your brain stops negotiating. 90 minutes is the sweet spot. Long enough to get past the residue, short enough that nobody misses you. And be careful here, most people schedule it at 4 in the afternoon, when they're already drained. Give your deepest work your sharpest hours, not your leftovers. Mine is 8 to 9:30, before the warehouse team wakes up. Phone face down in a drawer. Mail client fully closed, not minimized, closed. One tab open. And here's the part that makes it survive, I told my team. 2 sentences. Before 9:30, call me if it's urgent, message me if it isn't. Nobody has ever objected. Now the hardest idea in the book. Newport argues you can't train focus for 90 minutes and then spend the rest of the day scrolling. Why? Because concentration is a muscle, and every time you reach for your phone the second you feel bored, you are training that muscle to quit. Standing in a queue. Waiting for a report to run. 30 seconds in a lift. Those tiny moments are where the habit is actually built. Don't schedule distraction-free time. Schedule your distraction instead. Try the flip this week. Instead of blocking your phone for 90 minutes, decide the windows where using it is allowed. Say 10:30, 1 o'clock, and 4. Outside those, focus is simply the default. It feels strange for about 3 days. Then something clicks, and boredom stops feeling like an emergency you have to solve. Last one, and it's the one people resist. Newport says end the day completely. A hard stop, a 2-minute review of what's still open, and 1 sentence, shutdown complete. Sounds silly. It works. Unfinished tasks keep spinning in your head all evening, and that spinning is what leaves you tired on Monday morning. When you write the open items down and confirm there's a plan, your brain finally lets them go. Rest is not the opposite of deep work. Rest is the thing that makes tomorrow's deep work possible. During month-end close, I run this at 6:15. Open items get a next step and a date, right there in one list. 3 subsidiaries still pending review, Monday morning, first block. Then I close the laptop. The work is still waiting tomorrow. But it stops following me home. That single habit did more for my energy than any app I have ever tried. So, quickly. Deep work is the work a smart beginner couldn't copy in a week. Every interruption costs you 20 minutes, not 2. Rituals beat willpower, so give your best block your sharpest hours. Schedule your distraction instead of your focus. And shut the day down properly so it stops following you home. One takeaway for tomorrow. Block 90 minutes in your calendar, first thing, before your inbox sets your agenda. Tell one person. Do one hard task. That's it. 2 sides of the same idea, all the way through. Attention is finite, so spend it deliberately. If your days feel busy but empty, start tomorrow with 1 protected block. You'll feel the difference by Friday. Next time, I'll show you how I structure a full month-end close so the hard work lands in the sharpest hours.